George Russell is starting to get frustrated with Mercedes' poor performance as the team's struggles seem to be far from over. Russell ran a flawless weekend in Jeddah, convincingly beating teammate Hamilton, snatching the best of the rest finish by crossing the line fifth. But the 24-year-old wasn't very fond of the result, as he said, "Mercedes still have work to do," and demands a bigger leap, not baby steps from his team, as he's eager to get into the fight at the front. "We were still a second behind Red Bull and Ferrari in the race," George told the press before taking a subtle dig at Mercedes. "At the moment, we're making baby steps, and we need to take some big leaps, and we are struggling to find that silver bullet to resolve the issues we have. I have no doubt when we do that, we will find a chunk of lap time, but it is easier said than done," Russell said, before being questioned on the expected timeline. Timeline? I don't know. At the end of the day, the others are continuing to improve as well, so we're improving, they're improving, we just need to do it at a faster rate. Russell weighted up the team's chances as he still hopes the Silver Arrows will overturn their fortunes and eventually bounce back. "We are the third fastest team, closer to fourth than second, so it is going to be more of the same in the coming races," concluded the latest Mercedes edition. But as Red Bull and Ferrari continue to pull away in the standings, pressure to finally deliver and get back into title contention is ever rising in the Brackley base. George Russell has been outspoken about believing the team's lack of performance lies in their porpoising issues, which have been the predominant factor behind the team's poor results. "The faster you go, the worse it gets," he said, when being quizzed about the problem. "It makes it harder for qualifying because we turn the engines up, maximum power, go quicker down the straight, which causes more downforce and causes more porpoising," George continued. "So, we almost need to preempt this issue, and also in the race, when you have the DRS closed, you have more downforce than you do with the DRS open. And that's another factor we need to consider. We're still learning, and that's why we're far from optimal," he added. "But that's why I said, if we solve the porpoising, that would cure 99% of our issues. We're going to start trying to develop the car around the issues, but we need to solve the underlying problem, which is the porpoising. All of these cars perform best at low ride height, and we can't get anywhere close to where our rivals are running," summed up Russell, who will undoubtedly become a regular at his dentist's office if the bouncing issues continue. But Mercedes' issues will come to an end eventually. The only question remains to be, when? While earlier admitting he has no clue about a realistic timeline, George believes it could take up to 8 full Grand Prix weekends till the team gets back to form. "We're not giving up. Even if we continue like this for the next 5, 6, 7, or 8 races, we are still going to be in touching distance, and there is no reason we can't overturn it," he stated. Something the 1997 Formula One champion, Jacques Villeneuve, vividly disagrees with, as he believes that even if Mercedes makes a bigger leap as Russell demands, it might be too late with Leclerc and Verstappen already having one hand on the championship trophy. The championship is a long way off for them. By the time they are competitive again, Leclerc and Verstappen will be much too far away. "Competing for the prizes is no longer an option for Mercedes," he recently told the media. But Villeneuve thinks it will be Hamilton who suffers more between the Mercedes pairing. George Russell can still handle the car to some degree. Maybe that's because of his years at Williams, where he also had to drive a difficult car. But Lewis Hamilton is not coping at all, continued the Canadian. "He's always had a perfect car. He never had to push because they were so much faster," he continued, before opposing Russell's perspective, as he believes the team's greatest issue lies in the power unit, not porpoising. "You can make an engine stronger, but you can't get extra horsepower that easily, and if the chassis won't cooperate, you have a problem," the former Williams champion concluded. It seems that every person wearing the Mercedes team kit continues to stand behind their engine department, blaming the performance on a different part of the car. Russell further explained why the ground effect caused issues with porpoising won't be a quick fix for the engineers back at Brixworth and Brackley. "The wind tunnels aren't really picking it, the porpoising, up as we are on track. Our wind tunnel is an isolated environment, and the circuit has so many parameters at play," he admitted the root of Mercedes' issues before sparing some words of kindness and appreciation for the hardworking engineers. We've got the smartest people in the business, and we all believe in our people back at base, so I'm sure we can solve it, Russell said. But he doesn't believe the team's issues end there, as the everlasting porpoising issues resulted in the team being forced to adapt a higher rake approach, which is adding unnecessary drag to the W13. George started by comparing his machine with the Red Bull car. Red Bull were definitely running less wing than we were, but they seemed to accelerate very fast when they get down the straight, he stated. They are seemingly doing a better job at reducing their drag at high speed, and their pace at the moment is extraordinary. We need to do some work in all areas to catch up. It's fair to say that Russell is not enjoying the team's current state, and neither is Hamilton, who summed up his Jeddah weekend by saying, "I just want to go home." But is Toto Wolff up for the challenge? No, it's no fun at all, Toto said. We were right in the middle of those fun games at the front for 8 years, Wolff continued. It's extremely painful to not be part of those games by quite a chunk of lap time deficit. It's an exercise in humility, and it's going to make us stronger in the end, even though it's not fun right now, admitted the Mercedes man before praising Formula One for the closer racing the new regulations have brought. They have achieved what they wanted to achieve. Spectacular racing, good overtaking, the grid has been shaken up, which is less fun for us, but it happens, Wolff opened up. The midfield is extremely close, so overall, from the entertainment factor, I'm happy about the hype around Formula One. I think then they achieved the target. You can only applaud for how that all came in, he continued. I would very much hope that the gap is much closer to what we've seen, but there are deficits everywhere, Toto concluded. Speaking about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Wolff was critical of the team as he believes the team missed an opportunity. Today's race was the reflection of where we currently stand. The performance gaps seemed to be similar in qualifying and the race, and clearly, there is a lot of work for us to do in order to get into the fight at the front. George managed his race well and scored the maximum we could have hoped for today without any incidents ahead of him, he said, before moving the attention to Hamilton, who added a single point to his name in Jeddah. For Lewis, it was always going to be a difficult afternoon from P15. The first safety car came too early to run to the end on medium, so we stayed out like other cars that started on hard. Then we missed the opportunity to box just before the pit lane closed under the VSC, which cost us a couple of positions. The overall picture is sobering, and it's clear that we need to continue working hard if we wish to deliver a stronger performance in Melbourne, Toto summed up the weekend shortly after the race. With a week left till the lights go out in Australia, no one's expecting any miracles from the Petronas-backed team. The team doesn't just suffer from a couple flawed parts of the W13 that could be turned around as a set of upgrades for the next race would fix the team's issues. They're battling severe underlying issues to the car philosophy, the predominant arguably being the side podless design of their race machine. This exact concept was our first design. We had it in the wind tunnel last July, and we already noticed there that it gives advantages in slow corners, revealed the Haas team principal Gunther Steiner. But, as an overall package, we saw greater potential in wide side pods, concluded the chief, whose team is shaping out to be one of Mercedes' main competitors this season. Something you would undoubtedly get laughed off for predicting just a month ago. Strange how quickly the tables turn in Formula One, isn't it?